Hello, Leanna here, sex and relationship coach. Welcome back, subscribers, and hello to all you new people coming in. Today I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm going to talk to you about my first threesome. There's been a lot of discussion about threesomes. Threesomes are the top fantasy out there, and so I thought I would get into my own story here. Now, before I start, make sure that you subscribe. If you have not, just hit that subscribe button. For me, that helps move my channel along, or you can hit the alarm button as well. That will help give you notification when my new videos come out. Now, my partner and I had been thinking about a threesome for a long time. We had talked about it, we had fantasized about it. We had also thought about maybe going to a swingers club. Swingers club is where couples and singles go to play around intimately and sexually at a club. But it was a lot of talk and a lot of fantasy, but nothing was actually happening. But one day, all of that changed. My husband came out to me as bisexual. It was after 13 years of marriage. I was shocked. I talk a lot about this in some of my much earlier videos, so please check that if you'd like more details about having a bisexual husband. But basically, he came out to me and I had to decide now, what do I do with this? I have a bisexual husband. What do I do? He wants to explore. What does that mean to our relationship? What does that mean to who I am who I am as a mother, as a wife? What are we going to do about this? I had no idea. I had no idea. But I took a few weeks to think about it, pros and cons, and trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I decided that I was going to stay with him. I really loved this man. I'd been with him for 13 years. And, you know, here he was. He wanted to explore his sexuality. He wanted to find out something else. He had a desire that he wanted to explore. And I thought, yeah, I also have desires. I would like to explore my sexuality, so let's do it together. I said, let's open the relationship. So when I told him this, he was shocked. He thought I might like get up and leave and run away from him. But I said, no, like, it's time to make a change. It's time to do something different. So we decided that since he was interested in exploring with men, and I was also interested in exploring with men, and we wanted to do this together, let's have our threesome as the first thing to do. Now, of course, saying let's have our threesome, it's one thing to say it and fantasize about it. The other thing is to actually do it. So I was quite terrified of the whole idea. I mean, I was a mother. I had been married for 13 years. I was a wife. I was in my early 40s. Could I do this? Could I allow myself to do this? It took a lot of processing and figuring out, and there was a lot of fear inside of me. So I kept putting like blocks up to stop the event from happening. My husband was like ready to go. He was ready to get started. He wanted to let's go. I'm ready to explore. And how do you think we were going to start? Like, what are we going to do? How do you start? How do you find a threesome? This is, 15 or so years ago. Well, Craigslist. Let's go to Craigslist. So we put up an ad on Craigslist, and we had like a huge amount of response. We're a couple looking for a bisexual man to explore. Big response. So I started helping him when we were looking at pictures and corresponding with people, and after a while I said, wow, there's just too much to handle. He was really excited about connecting with people, so I let him do it. Once you narrow it down, then let me see, and we'll go from there. So he did that. He spent some time looking at all the pictures and talking to different and texting people and finding someone that he felt like we could connect to, and then he said, okay, I've got a couple of possibilities. So he showed me one of the pictures, and I was quite surprised. I'm like, wow, like, he's a very handsome, nice looking, interesting kind of looking guy. Okay, this is possible. It's possible. But I still had a lot of fear of taking the next step. I mean, okay, now he's found a guy. He's like, okay, like, we're ready. We have a guy. We can set up a time. We can meet him as soon as we're all on the same page. But my fear was overtaking me. I started, first of all, I got my period. Actually, I got it like way off than when I would normally get it. Then after that, I had a urinary infection. Then I got a yeast infection. So there were like 3 months were going by, 4 months. We were still unable to have this experience because I was really blocking my body from having it because I was so scared. I was so scared. Finally, my husband said, look, you have to calm down because you have to know that you have all the power here. If there's any point within meeting the person, coming together with a person, being in the middle of intimate connection, you want to stop, you can say no and we will stop. You have the power. So that really shifted it for me. I thought, okay, I can be scared, but I also have to know that I can stop this whenever I want. So finally I said, okay, let's go. So we set up a meeting with this guy. We went to his little basement apartment. I was still very nervous, of course, but okay, we're going to do it. Now we're at the place. We go to the door, knock on the door, he opens the door, and wow, he is a very handsome man, very cute, nice energy, very happy, like very nice smile. Okay, I can still say yes here. This is still okay. We go into his place. Wow, he's got a nice place. It's very neat. It's clean. He serves us some wine. We all sit around. We're having a nice little chit chat. And I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling pretty relaxed. But I'm thinking at the same time, like, now what? How are we going to get this started? He says, "Would you like to see the bedroom?" I'm like, oh my God, okay. My husband looks at me, he looks at me, they're both looking at me. I'm like, okay. So he takes us to the door at the end of the hall. He opens the door and there's candles all around the room, lit up. Just beautiful. Like it just looks so romantic and so lovely. I'm like, okay, I can still say yes here. We walk into the room. I sit down. And I'm just sort of absorbing the room, getting into the space, and I'm thinking, okay, here we are now. I don't know, how are we going to start? Who's going to start? What are we going to do? How do we get this going? Questions are going on in my mind. And I'm just trying to take in all of the energy of this place and this situation that I'm in now, that I'm just about to have a threesome. So if this story is really intriguing you, I would like to, you're still watching this so far, I would like to give you a gift and offer you a nice little gift here. It's a little ebook about 6 tips to help you relax during sex. It's so important to feel relaxed. So I want to offer you some tips to help you get relaxed so that you can move into these new explorations. Please click the link here on the video, or you can click the link in the description and get those 6 tips, okay? So back to the story. All these questions were going through my head. I was nervous, and then I was kind of in my own space. I didn't even think about where these guys were, and I'm suddenly like, oh, well, where are they? And I look over at the other side of the room, and they are like half naked already. They're all over each other. And I look over, and they look at me, and it's like, whoa, like, slow down. Like, I'm barely sitting down here. We have to go much slower. Like, we have to go, like, slow motion here for me. And they say, okay, we get it. And so then they come over, and we go nice and slowly and gently and take our time. It's really like a beautiful hour. It's a sensual dance of touching, of kissing, of holding, of like really deep respect for each other, checking in on each other, trying different positions, the heat building, the energy building. It was really like beyond any kind of imagination that I could have created, beyond any kind of expectation that I had. And I never felt like saying no. It was just, yes, the whole way through. I felt so supported. And it was just an amazing experience. So after we left his place, we went to a little bar so that we could unwind from the experience. And we both agreed that it was the most incredible sexual experience we had ever had in our lives. We felt so much love for each other, for allowing each other to play out this kind of incredible experience together. And we just felt so connected and so expanded in our sexual relationship. So it was overall, it was just such a win-win situation. And from there, we went on to have many other kinds of threesomes and experiences together. Almost all experiences were super positive, or we learned something very important. We always went in with a really positive note, and whether it was a slightly off experience or it was a really beautiful connection, we left learning something. We left feeling like, well, that was an experience that we had together, that we've grown. So as a takeaway, you know, I hope you've learned something here, and I hope this helps you take a step into potentially having your first threesome experience. As a takeaway, you know, have patience, take your time. There's no rush. Enjoy the entire process. Make sure that everyone feels involved, you know, checking in on each other, making sure that everybody is comfortable. And lastly, make sure that you know, and it wasn't just me, but know that everybody has the power to say no. We were in other situations where I did say no at times, and where somebody else said no because it just wasn't working for them. Nothing taken personally, it's just you're not maybe ready for that yet. So no is okay. We must respect each other's boundaries. So if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe again. I want to remind you to do the subscribing, or click the alarm button. If you'd like some deeper stories, every month on my Patreon account, I offer stories about my own explorations, and we talk about all of the aspects involved with that as well. So if you're interested in getting to know a bit more and want to hear more stories, then go to the Patreon account. Thank you very much for being here, and I will see you again very soon. Much love making.